to figure out how many years I've been a part of this, probably since about 2014, 2015. So it's been a bit, and this group with all of the vast experience that you bring to the table is in such a great place to not only share things that we've already developed, but to really dig in and develop new things, to sit either in meetings together in this space or even in meetings outside of the main meetings in work groups to really come up with some new and innovative solutions to challenges. So I'm glad to be back this year, and thanks, Tom, for giving me a couple minutes.
Definitely. Thanks, Meredith. I met Meredith in this network. I was a part of this network for a long time as well before I got the enviable position of working with you all. So glad to be here and glad to hear about Meredith's experience here as well. So we're gonna keep on keeping on. Got a lot to do this morning. This is a little shorter meeting for us, so we want to make sure we can fit it all in. I have some exciting updates here. This is kind of slide caught me off guard. Might be a little out of order, but anyways, I'll give you the update right now. Some of you might know we have had really exciting opportunities for our center and to feature some of your work and the things that you contribute to in national conferences this year. So the IEL conference took place in June, and I was able to give a presentation on communities of practice and how they're effective drivers for professional learning and expertise in the field of education, speaking specifically around family engagement. And we got to highlight two of your colleagues and their thoughts. We actually had little videos of Krista and Steve Ramos, who I don't think is with us anymore, but was with us for a while, and just talking about their experiences here. And I am happy to announce that that went so well that we've actually been invited back to share about this network and the work that you all do again at another National Family Engagement Summit in October. So I bring this up just to share that this network's work is influencing other people. People think that what we do here is interesting and important and can be a big driver for outcomes and stuff for kids and students and families. So just want to ground us this year, knowing that people are watching and that we're doing a good job and we're doing all types of good stuff. And really kudos to you and everything you all do. So thanks for being here and thanks for making this a special place to be. Where we're headed this year, hopefully you've all got this. I do recognize I've been getting a lot of emails the last week or two with issues related to Outlook invites. I hope that I've rectified as much of that as I hope I rectified all of it, but it's been going so poorly that I'm sure there is still a couple little hiccups going on. I do apologize. I encourage you to continue to reach out to me, keep an open line of communication, just so I make sure everyone's got the same information. But just so you know, this document's on our website. I'm going to show you a little bit about our website in a little bit where you can find all of this information whenever you need it. But these are the final dates that we'll be working from. These are aligned to those Outlook invites and everything that you got. So if you ever just forget or feel like something's not on your calendar, feel free to come back here and check. So some other things that we'll be focused on this year that I'm really excited to share with you. So I hope you saw, whether it was on Twitter or through maybe some other means, that we recently shared this brief on partnering with families through special education. And this is actually written and developed by a lot of people who work on the Parent Mentor Project here at Ohio State as well. So it's like a really great connection between both those works. But what this really does is share, so it doesn't really reinvent the wheel, but it packages really nicely some research-based strategies for partnering with families on the special education process. We are lucky enough to have some of the authors of this paper be in our network this year. And what we're going to do throughout the network year is go through some of the strategies in each meeting and have a little discussion about how they apply to our work, how you might be able to use them in your consulting work with school districts. And I'm just really excited to make sure that we're grounded and focused on meeting the needs of families and students with disabilities this year. So we're not going to dig into it too much today, but I put it on the website, which again, primer, I'm going to show you about that in a second if you're new here, but really encourage you to check it out. But we'll be diving into this throughout the year. Another thing that we're going to use to focus our work around is the National Association of Family, School, and Community Engagement recently published core competencies for family-facing professionals. Now, this is important for our work because it gives us a starting point and a benchmark to kind of measure how we are doing with our kind of professional skills and knowledge, right? So there's 8 core competencies, and what we're going to be doing is kind of testing how we grow through these competencies and how we perceive ourselves and our kind of where we're at in our work relative to these competencies throughout the year. Again, we're not going to dig into these too far today, but I wanted to let you know that number one, these exist. Number two, we'll be highlighting them at our summit in just about literally a month from today. So that'll be cool if you want to check that out. But also just that there's this really cool development that you might be interested in where we can kind of start talking about what our professional competencies are and look like around this work. So I'm really excited to have these 2 documents kind of be flowing throughout our work this year and hopefully tying everything together. We'll still be very responsive to whatever's going on out in across Ohio and whatever kind of comes up throughout the year, but we're really going to try to just stay organized around these 2 things because we think they meet our goals and our mission as we kind of talked about before. So if you got any questions about that, feel free to drop those in the chat or just go ahead and check them out in your free time. So here's where I thought we were going the last time. I want really quick right now, if you all could take a second to tell me how many years you have been in the network. And if you wouldn't mind, I know that y'all family engagement consultants, but what other roles do you have at the SST? We know a lot of you wear many hats, so this might help us make some connections. So drop in the chat how many years you've been coming. Please let us know if this is your first time. We need to know that too. And what else are you doing around your SSTs?
Welcome, Missy. So you're you work to support the staff within your region. That's great. Tammy's been here a few years now. It's good to see you back. Hi, Linda. School improvement. Yeah, definitely cuts through all of the family engagement work that we do. Trisha, welcome. First full year. Also working in special education. Megan, school improvement. Candace. Candace wears a lot of hats. Early childhood literacy and PBIS and early childhood. Welcome, Chelsea. All right, so a lot of 2 and 3 years I'm seeing, Tom.
Yes, absolutely. I am, the reason for my silence there for a second is I am trying to write down everyone's name really quick who just said it's their first time, because I'm about to do something really cool to do to strangers in the morning, and I'm about to put you on the spot and make you introduce yourselves. We're not going to go through and introduce everyone. We'll have some time over the year to get to know each other, but I do would love to meet some of our new people here. So if I skip you when I call out names, you can either let me know or be really happy knowing that you got away with one. It's up to you. But also, of course, I don't mean to put anyone on the spot. If you'd like to pass or whatever, you can, but we'd love to hear from you. And I'll just go down the list of kind of what I heard here. So I invite you to throw on your camera if you can or comfortable, and open up your microphone. I'm wondering if we could meet Ms. Jennifer Jones.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Jones. My background is mostly in special education and special ed administration, and I am new to state support team work this year. I'm with State Support Team 13.
Thanks so much. Great to meet you.
You too.
I'm going to throw over now to Missy Baker.
Hi, I'm Missy Baker, and I am a 29-year veteran teacher who moved into SST 16 about a year and a half ago, and I've been working as a support staff, and I am transitioning to be the new PBIS consultant. So my director and I are going to be working with family engagement together. So hello, everyone.
Welcome. Thank you. Gonna pass it over now to Jennifer. I actually messed up and wrote down the wrong name. I'm gonna pass it over to Jessica.
That's okay. I get called Jennifer a lot. Hi, I'm Jessica Dedick. I just became a consultant for State Support Team Region 5. I'm a former elementary music teacher that became passionate about PBIS. So I have joined our PBIS team here, and I'm excited to also work with family and community engagement.
Thank you. Welcome. Very cool background, music teacher. I'm gonna invite Trisha to say hello.
Hi, I'm Trisha. This is my first full year. I did work a little bit with Steve halfway through the year last year. So excited to be here, and I'm up in Region 4.
Welcome. Marcy, how are you this morning?
Good morning. I'm doing good. Thank you. I'm so glad to get to learn here today. I'm new at SST 15, and this is my 25th year in education. I've spent the last 8 years as superintendent, most recently in Southeast Ohio, and before that in the Seattle area of Washington State. And that's where I also served before being a superintendent as assistant superintendent. And before that, executive director for teaching, learning, assessment, and technology. And then before that, of course, a building leader and teacher. So brand new to the role of as consultant at the SST. And so I'm learning a lot.
Cool. Well, yes, SST is such a unique position, but we're really excited to have someone with your experience on the team. So welcome. Pass it over to Chelsea.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Chelsea Bodnarick. I am a new consultant with SST1. My background includes elementary and middle school teaching. I was an elementary principal and a curriculum director, and now I'm here. Thank you.
Well, welcome. Thank you. Candace, am I saying that correctly?
Yes. Candace.
Thank you.
Hi, everybody. So I'm from State Support Team Region 3. I've probably been there about 11 or 12 years. I am in early childhood, and I am transitioning out of PBIS, although I know I'm still going to get called into a few things with that, and into community and family engagement. So I'm happy to be here. Got a lot to learn. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
And I work
Welcome.
with Terry, so a lot of you probably know her because she's been here a while.
Terry is like Terry's like an original. Terry's has been. Terry was here before I got here for sure. So we know Terry, and we know that SST3's got their stuff together when it comes to family engagement. I'm gonna pass it over now to Sarah.
Hi there, my name is Sarah Mccluskey. I am here, new consultant in SST7. I see some familiar names. I had a previous life at ODE as an assistant director for curriculum assessment, and I was part of the literacy team as assistant director for a bit of time. And Tom and Meredith, I actually had a life at OSU in 1900 Kenny Road, working with SEAT and some projects there in early childhood. So I'm excited to be part of this work formally. It's one of my main points of work right now, along with a little bit of literacy and part of the UDL collaborative, and supporting some of the diverse learners work. And I think Ed is with me, but I think he's not new. But anyway, I'm excited to be part of the work and see familiar faces and to meet new faces and folks. So that's that.
Awesome to have you. Thank you so much. Wondering if there's anyone else that I missed from the state support teams who's new to our group.
I'm new. Eric Neal, SST 11.
Okay. Welcome, Eric.
Thanks.
Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Eric Neal with State Support Team 11.
Sorry, I appreciate it. And one more I know that we have from our parent mentor team. Dr. Hicks, would you like to introduce yourself? Put you on the spot.
Sure, no problem. Hi, everyone. My name is Dr. Gabrielle Hicks, and I'm with the OSU Professional Development Parent Mentor Oversight Committee. I'll be here with Dr. Walker every meeting, and we're looking forward to connecting with you all and sharing about the Parent Mentor Project even more.
Appreciate it. Thanks for being here today. And thank you all for stepping up, introducing yourselves. I hear that we have a ton of diverse backgrounds and experiences to bring to the table. I feel like we're going to learn a lot from each other, and I hope that we all get along and have some fun too. So welcome, and thank you all for sharing and letting me put you on the spot there. Okay, so we're gonna just have some time to catch up for about 10 minutes with state support team with our network members. So what we'll do is we'll get into some small breakout rooms, and I want people to think about this and kind of discuss with each other what you want out of this network this year. So I'm hoping that you could be thinking about one goal for developing your knowledge and skills around family engagement. Maybe it is really just to get some of the literature under your belt. Maybe it's to expand your knowledge in family engagement and literacy, or family engagement continuous improvement, wherever that lies, whatever you want to do this year in this network. Think about that. One goal for a strategy or activity that you hope you can accomplish in your region this year. Maybe you're already working on something with the school district, or maybe you see a gap or opening that you could do something really cool in. And then another question, what are some opportunities that you see to integrate family engagement across priorities? We just heard from people, they have all different backgrounds, kind of all different hats in their regions. So how can we make some of these connections? Because here we kind of believe that family engagement flows throughout all the work in an education program. So think about those things. I don't think you're probably going to get to all these for every person. So if you pick one that's maybe better for you, or you're really tied to, that'd be just fine. But I'll drop these in the chat. and we'll take about 10 minutes to get into some small groups. Oh, that's not how you drop it in the chat. That looks crazy. What do you do? Okay, so you should see these rooms opening now. Feel free to hop in if you'd like.
Sorry, Tom, this is Donna. I was just in the middle of doing a little text here to Terry. Could you send me to my room? I appreciate that.
Of course.
Thank you. Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Thank you. Let's see here. Yeah.
Well, come back, people. We come back here, come back in droves in just a second. Okie dokie. Sorry if there's abrupt end there, but welcome back. It's good to see you all again. Hopefully you got to chit chat with your friends, colleagues, meet someone new, catch up with someone old. But I want to keep us moving because I'm, classic FCE network already 9 minutes behind. So I'm gonna keep things moving here. I want to show people, whether you've been here for a while or whether you're new, where we keep stuff and where you can always get in contact with resources from past meetings, what's coming in the next meeting, stuff like that. And also give you a quick highlight of our website here. So hopefully you see on my screen here, this whole little website thingy going on. And this is our website, so ohiofamiliesengaged.osu.edu here. And we will be getting a new website soon, which I'm kind of excited about. I'll get to show it to you again. But in the meantime, a lot of our resources are kind of like, for you all, there's like 3 places that I think about. So we have our resources divided into 4 families and 4 schools, and then further divided into kind of like grade bands, and then into topic areas, as you see here. So what we've been pitching to people recently is like, if you need a family engagement resource or something, or want to show a school something, don't Google it. I know Google's the first place to go, but we've vetted a lot of this already. And this is stuff that we find to be in line with kind of our values and where the field is with current research and evidence. So check that out whenever you need something. Another thing I just want to draw your attention to about our general website really quick is this professional learning tab. Now, if you're an educator or you want to improve kind of your ideas about a concept, or in your consulting work, someone, hey, maybe you need to think about this a little differently, this place is cool. This has kind of all the information about upcoming events and speakers and things that we got. But the things I like the most about here, learning on demand page. Okay, this has video recordings of tons and tons of different sessions we've done on different topics. So you can see session 1's got some foundations of family engagement, but we've got things about principles of UDL, middle school, measurement, MTSS, kinship care, like a lot of intersections of family engagement and other things that you might be working on or really helping to coach a school through. So if anyone, needs somewhere to go, have something to listen to, get kind of more up to speed with something you're helping them with, this is a great place to stop. Another thing I'd love to show you here is our research briefs. So this is something I showed you, is special education and family engagement research brief. Well, we've published several of these briefs in different areas. Mental health, of course, that continues to be a huge concern for families, for schools, probably for you all. And so partnering with families in mental health, middle school, early literacy, grand families. So this is kind of a cool place if you want to quickly get kind of the research on one of these intersections or topics and what the research says about that. And then most of these have kind of either practices or starting points from the evidence to execute this either in your work or with a school district. So I really like stopping here too. Now, where is our stuff? Okay, this is the Ohio Family and Community Engagement Network. So if you go along the top here and find our networks, we are FCE, Family and Community Engagement, FCE network there. So you click here. So it comes to this login page. The login, I'll drop in the chat in a second, or Meredith, if you're there and can do it, is just network member, no spaces, all lowercase. Thank you, Meredith. This just gives us a little overview of what we do here. Also here you'll find our Voices from the Fields report. I'm still working on the website for the most recent one, but these are great examples of what SST consultants have been able to accomplish in the field for, that's 5 school years now. So you can go back and look at what people have been doing. But if you log in here, this is where all our stuff's going to be. Got a beautiful picture of us. Love that. So at the top, we got some important documents. You got dates, contact lists, still making sure that contact list is perfect. But a lot of stuff's in there now. Here's some other resources. We have Parents Guide to Special Education in a couple languages. We have some updated FAQs about alternate assessment, things that the departments shared with us, and things like that. So these are things that just might be helpful in your work, or might be helpful if you have to, kind of explain something to a parent or to a school leader or something. So check that stuff out. But you will see here, we have all of our meeting dates. And here is where you'll find all the resources for each meeting. At least a day or two before, you'll see all the agendas, the slides, stuff we're going to work on today. So some people will be, looking at our family engagement needs assessment today. So that's all there. Links to other stuff. Here is something that will move after today at the top of the page. Here's a link to my calendar. Part of my role as the kind of host of this network is that we can provide you with feedback or consultation at any time. So if you're either getting settled in a state support team, or want to go in a new direction in the school year, just running into a couple challenges with a certain district or something going on in your region, you can always set up a time to chat with us. And that's part of our job here, is part of our role in this network, is to make sure that you have a sounding board and partner to get your show on the road there. So this is something that could come in handy. You get to see my calendar and put yourself on there whenever it makes sense for you. One last thing I want to show you really quick is these archives. So if you've been here for a while or want to see what we've done in the past, you might be like, man, what's that thing from that meeting in the spring, like last year? We keep all of the pages active. We just kind of change them out so you don't have to sift through 40 meetings of stuff to find something, but we keep all the pages from the year before active and so on. So you can always go back to see these kind of archive records of our meetings, whether it's checking out the meeting session in a video, or checking out other resources that we looked at, right? We got a bunch of like guidance documents and stuff through here. So just want to show you all of that. And I'll pause here and see if anyone's got any questions about this. I will say, if you're a new member, we're going to go over this a little bit more in a couple minutes. But any questions about that?
Is there at one of the network meetings, just kind of a how to get started?
Yeah, so that's a great question. And we actually, when we get through a couple updates from our network partners, are going to break into new members and veteran members, and we're gonna try to get you on a starting path here, to get your feet under you, answer any questions you got. But I also think that I'll be able to show some resources on getting started too. So
Great, thanks.
Cool.
Yeah, we don't have like a pre-recorded, here's everything kind of a thing, but that's definitely what we hope you'll walk away with today.
Cool. So just want to make sure we keep on keeping on here. So we're gonna get in some network updates before we take a little break. We're so lucky to not only convene the 16 state support teams and their assigned consultants to this group, but we also have great partners from the Department of Education, the Ohio Coalition for the Education of Children with Disabilities, O'Calley, and other members from Ohio State. So we want to make sure that we give them some time to share what is going on in their neck of the woods, give you any updates and events that might be going on for them, and just make some general connections across our work. So to get started here, I'm going to invite representatives from OEC if they have any updates.
Tracy, you're on mute.
Thank you. Appreciate that. I am Tracy. I work for the Ohio Department of Education in the Office for Exceptional Children. I wanted to give our little update. We have been working on a parent-friendly website that goes through the steps for special education. So we have finally got this website up and running, and it has a nice kind of roadmap feel where it walks parents through the steps of an initial evaluation from the very beginning, and it kind of has all these different stops along the way. And we are working on creating more of these for other events like transition and things like that, because we recognize this is a really challenging process for a lot of our parents. So we wanted to make something that was as clear as possible. And I put the website in the chat box. It has other resources and things, and it is linked or focused specifically toward parents, not educators or anything, but talking to parents, helping them with this really challenging kind of process. And that is what I had to report on today.
Well, that's really awesome. And I think that definitely addresses a need that I think people have been talking about for a long time, right? It's a journey, and it's hard to know what you don't know. So I really appreciate the work that you all have put into that. Okie dokie. Moving on, I want to invite Dr. Hicks if she has any updates about Parent Mentor Project or other things.
I sure do. Thanks, Tom. So there were three main things that I wanted to touch on today to share with you all. The first is the Ohio Parent Mentor Project's new training model this year. So as a result of the 2021-2022 annual needs assessment and then professional development and conference evaluations, it was clear that parent mentors wanted to go deeper into a few very intentional topics rather than kind of a broad reach exploration of several topics. So offerings for the 2022-2023 professional development will focus on one topic as identified from a collection of data, and then every 3 months of the academic year, that topic will switch. So essentially we'll focus on one topic for 3 months at a time. And so parent mentors will engage in the topic in a variety of ways. First, they'll experience learning on the topic via an online self-paced module, and then they will participate in a live session, a synchronous session, in which components of that topic will be further discussed, and then opportunities for application will occur, and any questions that they still have lingering after the online module will be answered during that live session. And then after the live session, the parent mentors will participate in their communities of practice with other parent mentors in the region, and that will be just to engage on the topic further and really help others in their community of practice really implement some actionable items from the professional development. And then we're very excited that another component of professional development this year is a podcast specific to that topic. And so the OSU Parent Mentor team is already busy creating podcasts and the asynchronous sessions and preparing for the live session. So we're really looking forward to this new model of training, and we really think it will be beneficial for our parent mentors and really responsive to what they said that they needed. The next component that I wanted to address and update is the advisory committee. So at the end of each academic year, the OSU Parent Mentor Project team surveys the parent mentors to garner their interest in advisory committees to really support the planning for the next academic school year. And so this year we had five advisory committees for the 2022-2023 academic year, and that was professional development, conference planning, communities of practice, mentorship, and the website. And so parent mentors were asked to kind of select their first, second, third choice. We followed up with those choices just to make sure we put together the best fitting team with considerations like region representation, make sure we didn't have too much of one region represented on each committee. And then the advisory committees were contacted throughout the summer to review plans, documents, and other resources that the OSU team had been developing and preparing, and they were able to offer feedback. So for example, the Mentorship Advisory Committee had the opportunity to review the newly developed Mentorship Protocol. And this is to provide mentors of first and second year parent mentors with expectations and a sequence of topics that should guide their conversations and mentorship relationships for the year. And so the goal of the protocol was for new parent mentors to have sort of a portfolio of resources and information that they've garnered at the end of the year. And our Parent Mentor Advisory Committee was able to support and offer feedback for that to make sure it's really, what we're hoping it is as a resource. And then lastly, the SST connections and updates. So we'll be using this time of being here with you all to make sure that, we're staying connected and staying updated, but also we're signed up for several of the state support team email newsletters. And so we're constantly receiving those updates regarding professional learning and other resources. And so we're now selecting events, updates, and resources from those newsletters to share in a new section of our newsletter that goes out weekly to parent mentors, and it'll be entitled SST Connections and Updates. And so our goal is to be even more intentional about connecting parent mentors to SSTs in general, but especially the resources, updates, and learning that you all provide. So that's all I have to share.
Gabrielle, I have a question. As being the support staff here at SST 16, I am involved in a lot of emails between parent mentors and the consultants, that I need to direct them to. But, and again, this may not be an appropriate question right now, but we are losing our parent mentors because of this new training requirement. Has that been a big discussion with your department?
By losing parent mentors? I want to make sure I understand.
Yeah, we've gotten.
I'm wondering if it's surrogate parents, maybe, because of their new training requirement.
Oh, you're right. I'm sorry. I do get those mixed up, so I apologize. Yes.
No, that's okay. I wanted to make sure.
You're like, oh no, you're losing parent mentors.
Oh, where are they going? Okay, good to know.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. And that's all I have.
Thank you. I do see really quick, Dr. Hicks, if you wouldn't mind, there is a question about, if that, I think you could address that. If there's any meetings of parent mentors that state support teams can attend.
There may be. Let me get a double check on that from our principal investigator, Dr. Walker. She would be in these meetings, but let me confirm with her, and then can I share that with you, Tom, and you can get that message out. Thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I do think that maybe there's probably not these big formal-ish meetings where that would happen, but of course we expect that in the regions, all types of things are happening. Some of you are having meetings and some are doing their thing. So, but I'll get that back to the team when we find out about that. So thank you, Dr. Hicks. Moving on to, I'd like to invite any updates from the coalition.
Good morning. So we have at the coalition, we have a new multicultural information specialist that's going to be joining us hopefully the beginning of September. She is going to be supporting Spanish speaking families in Ashtabula, Cuyahoga, Erie, Geauga, Huron, Lake, Lorraine, Medina, Mahoning, Portage, Sandusky, Seneca, Summit, and Trumbull counties. So up north. We are also going to be hosting some webinars this year, trainings. One is going to be on September 21st from 1 to 2. Andrew Kahn from Understood is going to be talking about helping students with learning and thinking differences navigate the mental health and emotional challenges. On September 28th from 10 to 11:15, Amy Szymanski from the Ohio Department of Education is going to be talking about post-secondary outcome data from the Ohio Longitudinal Transitional Study. And there's going to be a Q&A. On October 21st from 10 to 11:30, Beth Thompson from Milestones is going to be talking about the magic numbers of transition. Registration is not out for these at this time. And most of you, I think, are on our email list, but if you are not, and you are, because I understand that there's new members here today, if you would like to send me your email address, your name and email address, I would be happy to get that to our main office, and they can put you on our listserv, so you're able to get all that information. I think that's all I have.
Thank you. I encourage you all to connect with the coalition if you can. So make sure you reach out to Larissa to make sure you get on any lists you need to be on. And then thank you, Larissa, for your updates. And in the chat, we asked if you could share those dates, if you don't mind. Okie dokie. So I think I saw you here today. Michelle from Ocala. How are you today?
She is in the meeting, but still looks to be muted.
Touch a bit.
Oh, she's having trouble unmuting.
Sorry, Michelle.
Maybe Gwen can go while Michelle's trying to unmute.
Good call.
I see her here.
Base.
Okay.
Then got you a slide, Gwen. Gwen, how are you today?
I am hanging in there. I'm pretty good. I'm excited to be here. And yeah, Michelle has a lot of good stuff. So hopefully that we can work out those technical problems. But I also work with Ocala, the Ohio Center for Autism and Low Incidence. I don't know how many of you are familiar with us. We have a tremendous amount of resources for educators, professionals, and students. I specifically represent the Family and Community Outreach Center, and we have a slightly different slant, so to speak, or a different dimension. I really want to deal with the whole person, the whole child, the whole individual with disabilities. And I have a particular focus on socialization and connection. And I mean, there have been recent studies and some that aren't so recent that show that actually social isolation has a definite effect on the brain. They've done neuroimaging on brains that have dealt with social isolation, like from the pandemic, and there is actual visible changes. So we think that's so important. And like I said, on family and community outreach. So we want to focus on that. We do it through some innovative ways. We do have webinars for primarily for parents and families, but really for anyone. And they range for various topics. From this year, we've done something on guardianship, on stable accounts. Those are the programs that allow individuals to save and invest and still keep their benefits. On September 13th, we're doing one on SSI, supplemental security income for individuals with disabilities. And at the end of September 19th and 26th, we're doing a 2-part one on IEP. So we're very excited about that. Unlike I would imagine a lot of you, my summers are pretty busy with the plans, and we've had some pretty innovative and unique programs this summer, particularly this past August. On August 3rd, we partnered with DODD, the Department of Developmental Disabilities, and ASCO, the Autism Society of Central Ohio, to put on a sensory-friendly day at the Ohio State Fair. And during that day, they turned down the lights and the music so everyone could enjoy the rides and the other activities. There was also a quiet room that was available throughout the run of the fair. And it was just there. It has a variety of solutions. It's air conditioned, it's comfortable, but they have solutions for people with sensory issues like fidgets, weighted lap pads, and that sort of thing. And that was a big hit. We are already planning for next year. And of course, whenever we do that, we do offer information about Ocali, about our partners, because sometimes that's the best way to reach these families. Not all families come to conferences. Not all families, are able. And so we want to reach as many people as possible. Something else I'm just over the moon about, this past Sunday, we had our inaugural event, Band Together Central Ohio, which is an autism-friendly open mic. And through my personal experience, I have a son with autism. Music has been transformative, both for him educationally and personally and socially. And we want to expand that. It was wonderful. The energy was wonderful. And it's just, but the primary thing is not necessarily music. That's the connector. It's community again and connection. And it was really wonderful. It's going to be once a month, the second Sunday of every month. And we're just excited to see where that goes. And of course, I have to mention OcaliCon line or OcaliCon. It's going to be virtual again this year. It's in November. We are so excited. We actually have over 15,000 registrants, and that's statewide and worldwide. And if you're not familiar, it's an amazing event. Go to our website, ocali.org, to find out more. There are more than 200 sessions on all kinds of topics. It addresses just about any issue you can think of. It's for professionals, it's for teachers, it's for administrators, but it's also for parents and individuals with disabilities and advocates. And we're just excited. We hope you guys can join us and check us out. Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing. I will be at OcaliCon. I've been going for years now, and I will actually, Dr. Boone and I will be giving a presentation. I would love to tell you what it's on, but I feel like I forgot. So it's about something related to family engagement, I promise. But
Are you sure? Are you sure that's what it's about?
Yeah,
I think you're probably right.
It's probably going to be about family engagement, but we'll be at OcaliCon. We love OcaliCon. It's the place to be. So I got my socks hanging up in my office from last year, and so hey, I know we're running a little bit behind, but I do want to give just 1 second. I see Michelle, you were just popped back in. Is your microphone working? Okie dokie. Well, here's what I'm going to do really quickly. If you guys don't mind, let's take a 2-3 minute break. 3 minutes. Meet back here at 11:11. That's a cool time, right? And obviously we're all adults. If you need a little longer, take your time. But and we'll see if we can get Michelle worked out. But if not, we'll keep on keeping on. See you in a couple minutes. Okie dokie. Well, I have 11:11. I know that was a quick couple minutes, but want to make sure we have some time to get together today. So I'll give people, just a couple seconds to get situated before I give the next directions, because we're gonna have to follow some directions for the next part. Okie dokie. So it's mildly challenging. I hope most of you are back here. It's hard to tell, but but what I'm gonna ask you to do right now is, if you are not brand new, or you've been here for a little while, we are going to actually move you into a breakout room. So I'm going to open a room called Veteran Members, and if you could please opt to join that room if you've been here for a while, and y'all are going to break out with Meredith for about the rest of the meeting. So hopefully that makes sense, and I'm going to open up that room now. If you are a rookie or kind of newer to the group, then we'll be staying in here to chit chat a little bit.
Hey, Tom, I'm not new,
Yep.
I guess, but I'm not seeing where the group invite.
Oh, Yeah, I can throw you. I got you right here.
All right, cool. Thanks.
Yep.
Same with me, Tom. Not moving.
Gotcha.
Yeah, same here.
Oh my gosh, we have so many new faces. Well, welcome. We're gonna have a little more of a casual kind of end of the meeting. They're like digging into data analysis and stuff. We are going to kind of get on the same page about what this is and kind of why we're here and address any questions that you might have about stuff like that. So hopefully you're down for a little bit of a conversation to wrap up today. So what we're gonna do really quick is I'm gonna introduce myself, and then I encourage you, any types of questions that you have or anything, we'll spend some time getting to know each other a little bit too. We obviously all introduced ourselves briefly, but kind of what you're thinking about bringing to the table from maybe past work or things you're a little like nervous about stepping into this role, or not nervous, but some unknowns or whatever. So we'll just get to know each other a little bit, and then I'll go over like some more logistical stuff. So hopefully that'll work out. My name's Tom. I already mentioned my background this is my 10th year in education of some sort. I was an elementary school teacher. Then I worked at the Ohio Department of Education, and then I worked here. So how I got into family engagement was as a teacher, we had kind of work groups or I don't know what you call them, but we were all on different teams, and I was new to the community, and the principal at the time thought it'd be a good idea for me to plop onto kind of a community relations type team. And so being a new teacher and pretty bad at it, I found that the best way to maybe build some bridges was go to the football games, check out, whatever town gatherings are going on. I lived in a walking district, so like walking home with kids, stuff like that. So that was really useful to me, but I never really even thought about it like family engagement or anything. Flash forward, the Department of Education put me in charge of family engagement for the state. And I had to learn really fast what I didn't know about kind of the conceptual foundations of it. And that's how I ran into Dr. Boone and Meredith actually in this network. I was a member of this network for a couple years. And then when I moved here, I have taken over coordinating this network. A big focus to me about this network, and when I'm putting things together, what I think about your role in the state and how busy you all are, and not only how busy you are, but how you're kind of getting information, directives, all this stuff from like all different sides, right? You get directives from OEC, and then some weird stuff happens that changes the way that a test works. But then there's different policies that affect school districts, and now they're changing. So something that I hope always with this network is that we are bringing in whatever is happening in real time to you all in the state. Whatever challenges you are seeing in the field, we trust you as the experts. So if that's like, wow, there's this huge gap here, or having huge professional learning issues here, there, whatever, we want to be able to take that in and talk about it, give you resources on it. Some other things I think about this network, and what I take seriously about this network is the self-driven aspect of it, which I was touching on a little bit, but that like, especially in your roles as super busy people and working on things that have like real implications, like pretty high stakes environment, right? That we're coming here because you have directed the direction, and makes it a little more kind of useful for you all. So those are kind of some of the things I think about. I also view my role as connector, right? You're probably not going out and like doing a ton of research into like a lot of areas, or have the ability to consume, a lot of academic material, or even things coming from think tanks and stuff. And I do know that you do. I do know all of you are very intelligent, well-read people, but we can take some of that lift for you in terms of like what's new, what's coming down the pike, what's different. So that's a little bit what I think about this network. Some other things to be aware of is we have voluntary work groups that have been really crucial to building resources and new tools for the field in this area. And so that's something I hope that you all will be interested in once you get your feet under you. In the past, we've had things like Great Meetings Work Group, who like developed a tool that schools can use with teachers on how to set up family-friendly meetings. We've had an Early Literacy and Family Engagement Work Group, which has like developed rubrics for how you engage families in the early literacy process, and what that looks like. I heard a lot of you mention PBIS, and obviously that is such a core component to a strong education program, and also somewhere where families, really are necessary for success in most cases. So that's another type of thing we look at there. So that's a broad kind of overview of this thing that we're doing. Oh, dang, clicking all types of stuff. Sorry about that. Wondering if you all have any questions. I know that was a little ramblish. There's not a lot of words on the screen or anything. So wondering if you all have questions, or what you're thinking about as you've been assigned to this group and showing up for the first time. Yes, Sarah, you raise your hand.
Yes, I have a question. So I don't know if expectation is the right word, but is there an expectation to create a regional network? And if so, kind of what's the criteria? Are there certain guideposts out there, or checklists of things that we could use to create our own regional? And again, this is coming, I'm new, so there may be something established here in Region 7 already, or beginnings of. So I just wondered if there's some guidance relative to that regional network development.
That's a really good question. We do not expect or put the expectation on you that you would start a regional network. As you might hear being in this group, some regions have done that. They have kind of used our network as a model for bringing together their kind of family engagement leaders in their regions. This is a really interesting question that you have about like, do we have any like self-start kind of stuff about that? And we really don't have anything written down. What we've done in the past is had individual consultations with people, like once they get kind of their mind going about a direction that they want to go, and help them that way. But something that I think could be valuable if that is something you want to pursue, and you feel like it fits with your region's kind of focus, is like I said, I know Region 1 has a network. Does Region 4 still have a network, Trisha? I think Steve had brought something together. Okay, so and I know 13 maybe. So there are regions that do it. So what I even think would be good is like if some people here wanted to do something, that we could have a little like come together around that, so you can hear what people like did go through to do it. It's not an easy thing, but I think it's useful and helpful if you can get it off the ground.
Right, I'd be interested to hear from those regions that have things, have one in place, and learn from maybe what you've established and are keeping going.
Absolutely, great question. Other questions coming up for people?
I do have a question. I'm trying to connect the dots between various networks and initiatives. So Is there an overlap or connection between this network and the NNPS work?
It's a good question because it can be confusing. And we get this question like about a bunch of different initiatives and stuff. So is there an overlap? Yes, yes, but not like officially. We are not like coordinated together. I frankly don't know what the NNPS teams are doing. I'm very versed. I know what NNPS is. I know the whole thing, but in terms of like what they're doing and like writing plans and doing stuff, I'm not involved in that at all. When I say it is, yes, it overlaps, is obviously, you brought up this question, a bunch of people here are the NNPS coaches for their region. Kind of a natural fit. You're learning about family engagement here, you're applying it there type thing. So we do at times kind of respond to things that come up from that network because it's valuable to like our context broadly around family engagement. But beyond that, like, not really. And the reason, I mean, maybe it's not a good reason, but this network does include people who don't work on NNPS type stuff. And we really focus on this network as being kind of like the foundation or the floor for state support team family engagement, like knowledge and practice. And then hopefully, if you're in both, this is preparing you to be really successful and really well versed when you get to the NNPS project. Part of the reason it's not coordinated as closely as either is because the NNPS project is like that initiative just came up kind of, it just came up. I don't know. We were already doing this kind of for a long time before that started. And so we never made the connection. So that's not really probably a great answer, the answer that you necessarily wanted to hear. But I would say that the connections are, you'll have colleagues here. The content's not going to be like wildly different. Obviously, staff from our office run kind of both projects, but we don't have like a direct, we're going to talk about NNPS now in this meeting. Any other questions for people? Well, I'm sure we can pop up with some questions in a sec or as they come up.
I do have a question, Tom.
Oh,
now
sweet.
that I'm thinking.
Mhm.
Just so has this model that you've been, this is what, the 10th year of this network? Yeah.
Mhm.
I guess so I see, just in looking at the schedule, there's kind of a professional learning series where you have, so what has been historically some of the big milestones of this network, or some of the successes that you could say that have kept this going for 10 years
Yeah.
and being so successful?
Right. So something, you bring up a really good point that I should have probably mentioned when we looked at the schedule. And I don't know if I have the schedule in this slide deck here. My guy, Steve, we're going to listen to Steve in a second, but Steve's my guy. Steve can tell you all about the network. But if you you made a good point that I should have said. This schedule here, right? There's like the white ones and the gray ones. And what's the difference type situation. So we organize it. We have 4 kind of network meetings where we will do professional learning, but it's going to be a lot of stuff like this morning, like people coming in from the outside to give updates, you all presenting on like things that you're doing in the region, maybe working on like something important issue that popped up. And that's like a real work, like time type situation. Just addressing the needs of you all and stuff, not like just doing work to do work. The 3 white ones, the professional development series and special topics, what we do, and we will kind of decide this together over this meeting and the next meeting a little bit, is identify an area of growth that everyone kind of agrees on in the field of family engagement and special education. Of course, that's always going to be the foundation of what we're doing, and do a coordinated learning series across those three so that we can go really kind of deep, get a lot of different perspectives on like a single topic. So we've done mental health, we've done literacy, we've done what are some other ones that we've had? Definitely done PBIS, we've done measurement. So we do like more focused topics. Right now, because the world's crazy, they're a little more like big. They're like bigger than like how do we measure family engagement. It's like as the mental health is like really been huge for people recently. 2 years ago, obviously, or not obviously 2 years ago, but equity was like a huge concern for people. So we did a big series on equity. So that's the difference between those two things. And so when you come to those white meetings, you can expect that about 2/3 of the meeting will be kind of a professional learning for you all. What has made us successful? What are some of our successes? Well, I brought those work groups. Those have been really clutch for us to be able to talk together in these meetings and then really execute things like out in the world, right? Building tools, building resources, being able to, and this also goes to your point, being able to sell to not only your directors, but other consultants that this really is flowing through all work, right? When you come back to your region with a tool for a rubric for positive behavior intervention supports, and how in each part of the rubric families need to be involved and how we measure that against each other, it's a really good selling point to the other people on the PBIS team that family engagement is important at that point, or an early literacy, right? Sometimes we get really focused in our little lanes, and it's hard to kind of bring in these new perspectives. And we're really focused on the family engagement kind of happening everywhere. So I think that's been really successful for us too. We've been able to sell to directors and just other people around the state support teams that like, this isn't just like one person, half of one person's job. You all will develop a repository of tools and knowledge that you can really help your colleague, all your consultants, if they need kind of perspective around family engagement. Other things that have made us successful that maybe don't show up. I hate communities of practice. I hate professional learning communities. When I used to get assigned to these things, it was like the worst thing ever to see on my calendar, because you show up, half the time no one's done the work beforehand. You don't know who you're talking to because you met them one time 6 months ago, and like it just gets all over the place. You think you're smarter than the person presenting half the time. Like you've all been to bad communities of practice. We take very seriously using the community practice model was developed in the University of Oregon by two people in the early 90s, and actually is like a model that you can execute that rapidly expands knowledge and expertise in an area, builds context, builds network connections. We take all the core like parts of that very seriously and hope that you find that we're responsive to you all and your needs, as well as building these things like your professional network. Hopefully when you're here for a while, you have a buddy that you can email or text about like, dang, this happened in my school district that I'm working with. What did you do over here or whatever? So that's some of the successes that we've had. I also think the fact that we've had people that were successful at meeting new people's needs, kind of helping them get up to speed, but also keeping it relevant for people that have been here for a long time. Like I said, there are people that have been here for 6-7 years coming back, and that's also a wealth of knowledge and stuff.
Yeah. So Tom, that raises a couple more questions, maybe just one more question for me is you talk about measurement and effectiveness. So how have you measured kind of what are your points of measurement for the effectiveness of this? And then, you know, the fidelity of a network. There's a lot of TFIs out there, so I don't know if there's something. And I was recently, a couple weeks ago, on the multi-tiered system of support for family engagement structure that I enjoyed a lot as well. So I don't know, how does measurement of effectiveness and kind of I see your successes. So anyway, I don't know if you could speak to that at all.
Well, it's interesting because we actually we're actually adjusting our evaluation for this year, but for years before this, probably about 5 years before this, we basically built all of our evaluation around identified areas of practice from state support team members. So what did they need to grow in, or what did they perceive they needed to grow in, and what did they perceive that they were strong in? Kind of, measure that in the beginning, measure at the end, and be able to report back to the Department of Education. We do have all of our quarterly and annual reports that report, things like, oh, do you feel like this was useful to your SST, stuff like that too, right? Because we are providing a service to state support teams. So that's kind of how we were doing it. And then in the middle, like the meeting, after these meetings, we would do general PD surveys, like about how successful a PD was. Did we meet the objectives? Was this worth your time? Stuff like that. So, and that's also how we develop kind of topics in between, by where did we do good? Where did we do bad? This year, we are actually attempting to measure our fidelity and growth against those core competencies. So if we believe those core competencies for professionals are actually what family engagement, family facing professionals should be good at, then hopefully, or the plan would be that you're going to make some growth in those areas. Now, that is also a good question, because it kind of brings me to this, which is cool. This is and we can keep talking about any other questions that you have too. This is kind of obviously a more casual time than the other group. But this is our logic model. So what you see up here is kind of what we do, and this middle part here is really what we hope you see, and that you're able to feel like that happened, or didn't. And if you didn't feel like, you can complain about like tangibly, this did not happen, and tell me about it. The goal is pretty crazy because it's from the performance agreement, which of course is like a, maybe not directly, we tie everything to the performance agreement because we know at the end of the day that's what state support teams execute, but it also is a pretty verbose and not necessarily how I would have worded certain things. So what I encourage you to do is to kind of check out this part, and this is what you should kind of be expecting from this network. And maybe you can look over the network outcomes and regional outcomes and see if you have like any questions or skepticism or anything like that about it.
Thank you, Tom.
Yeah, and so hopefully you see a lot of what I spoke about reflected in here, right? We want SSTs to be able to talk about family engagement the same way. We don't want SST1 and SST13 to be on completely different paths about what they think family engagement is. We want to make sure that you all are growing in your practice. We want to make sure you have access to tools and resources. We want to make sure you have networks people. That you feel like if you're a PBIS consultant, this isn't just useless for you. Like you can bring it into other initiatives. We also develop new resources. Hopefully you get a sense that we collaborate across a couple organizations that you'll work with as well. Yeah, and then of course we listen to ODE too, so.
And then I guess the other end of that is what has been some challenges in this executing this model?
Well, I think challenges are always like, this is the biggest group of new people we've had in a while. So this will be actually an interesting opportunity for us this year to try to meet the needs of people that are kind of growing in the space, as well as people who are established in the space. I think other challenges, obviously, the last couple of years have been just priorities. People are not feeling super good all the time in the education space. People are facing some big challenges in the districts they consult with, like that are like kind of like way bigger than a professional development like can fix. People are facing challenges that maybe they haven't faced in their school districts before, in terms of access to resources and things. So those are always some challenges, and just the evolving nature of the education sector in our state is also always kind of fun and challenging as well. But
So are you saying, Tom, that this was not then a priority because of other things moving ahead of this? And so to try and get it on the radar had been a challenge?
I'm not saying it had not been. Well, I would say maybe originally that was true. That's like, 10 years ago, this was not a priority for people. This was a nice thing that people hug and you high five all the families and everyone's good, and you give them pizza and everything's better, right? Like, so I do think by building the knowledge base of the state support teams in this area, it did become a priority. But what I was more so saying is recent challenges, whether you think about COVID, whether you think about kind of how prominent discussions about equity and resource access have been recently, that it's challenged us to think about things that maybe are not just written in the NNPS field book or like written in like Beyond the Bake Sale, right? Like there's like some real things going on, and how does empowering families and giving them access to information and leadership roles and input in education programs really help advance those things as well.
Great, thank you.
Do people have any questions about what they're seeing up here? Okay, well then let me just skip to my guy, Steve, because he says this is pretty good. Oh, I had a what to expecting. Sorry about this. I didn't follow the slides at all. That was a failure on my part. We talk about what to expect during meetings, what to expect between meetings. So what to expect all of the time is you will always receive an email 1 week before the next meeting with the agenda and what's going to happen in the meeting. You will always have access to the website. So that's where you can check stuff too. You can also expect some email communication from us. We're not going to email you all of the time, but if there is like important things that we just found out about that maybe can't wait a month, then maybe we'll email you there. Now, some optional things between meetings. Brought up work groups. Oftentimes the work groups do meet outside of meetings. So we will have time sometimes in meetings for work group stuff, but that happens between meetings sometimes. Those work groups are always optional. People do find value in them, but we also understand you have a lot of responsibilities and things going on too. So always optional, and just kind of something to think about there. And then the other thing that I mentioned earlier, and this plays into the third bullet too, what do we offer all consultants? Oh, dang, this room just closed. Don't close. Oh my gosh, what am I doing? I'm normally more put together than this, I apologize. It's my first meeting for me too, back. So anyways, what we offer all consultants is consultation. We can consult the consultants if you need help. So I showed you how you can access my calendar, and I'm actually going to encourage you all to set up a meeting with me since it's your first year, and maybe you have some questions about your own regions once you get your feet under you and how the lay of the land might look. So that is definitely something to take advantage of. And that's just anytime you can set up a meeting with us. There's no limit to that. So there's that type of stuff. I'm gonna just wait
Be
6
able to
seconds.
throw your email in that chat one more time. I'm sorry.
Oh, of course. I'm definitely also about to have to pause for a second because this just happened. Hi, Meredith. Do you want to go back?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry. I don't
That's okay.
having some little hiccups about this. So if you guys could just hop back in that room. My
How
deepest
much more time
apologies.
might we have?
10 minutes.
Okay, perfect.
Cool.
Thank you.
Hello, goodbye. Sorry about that. Like I said, working out some kinks. Hopefully, did you all hear my music when you came in the room all the way back at the beginning? There's no music. Let me make sure we can hear my guy Steve. Wow, that's crazy. I was playing a whole playlist that no one could hear the whole
I
time.
missed it.
Yeah, well, you get the next one. Got a couple. Well, I want to give you a say. This is going to give you a perspective on what some people have valued from this network. Steve's going to talk about our network. You're going to hear another district leader hear about another one of our networks, but it'll be like the same just people's experiences in here really quick. But why don't you hear from them instead of me?
My name is Steve Ramos, and I am a consultant and coach at the State Support Team Region 4 in Northeast Ohio. We work with schools in Lake and Geauga counties.
So my name is Pam Thornburg, and I've been a parent mentor for about 19 years in Fayette County, Ohio.
My name is Michelle Tuitt. I'm the Director of Educational Programs with Tiffin City Schools in Tiffin, Ohio.
So my name is Krista L. Allison. I'm with the Ohio Department of Education State Support Team Region 9.
Oh, wow.
I would say that my engagement in regard, or my experience with family community engagement would be at that point on a Likert scale of 1 to 10, probably a 1.5. And the 5 would have been simply because I have a family of my own with children who are in school, not much experience at all, and not much confidence in planning for or preparing either teams or buildings or districts to engage at a deeper level with FCE. To be honest with you, I'm much more confident. I'm much more comfortable now. I have a greater understanding of family community engagement, and I'm guilty of this, I'll be honest. And prior to this, I was of the mindset that parents who didn't appear to be engaged weren't interested. That was my mindset, and I've learned quite differently over the last couple of years.
It's just the whole environment of people. I mean, we have so many diverse people, and we all have one thing in common, is getting families to engage, in school and in community resources. I think that everybody will say there's always room for growth, and that's true. I think that every time we meet, there's something new. I don't think that we go over the same things over and over again. The presenters always have something new. I always take away from that.
I will tell you that I wasn't sure that I had time for this network and for this meeting in the beginning. And my superintendent, it was like, you know what, this just makes sense. You need to do this. It's something very important that you need to do. So I did join. And then I was like, I have found my people. I have found those who speak to my soul. I love this. I cannot wait to come to the May 11th meeting because it really is just uplifting. I remember that no matter how low you're feeling when you go and turn on the Zoom link or whatever's going on in your day or how tired or run down you are, that simply listening for the first 10 or 15 minutes energizes your soul and it reminds you of why you do what you do.
Some of the content is driven by the participants, and it's not necessarily top down. You know, it's not necessarily coming from you or your organization, but from the people who are involved in the network, the people who are in the field. If they have some questions or they have some concerns, or there's an area of focus that they want more attention, I know that's driven a lot of the work locally, and but also with your organization as well. I mean, I know that you read the evaluations and the feedback that we provide, and if there are additional resources that we want or are looking for, you respond to that.
So what's interesting about this one, because I've been part of several of them locally, statewide, and nationally, and what I love about this network is that we are present in the moment of the issues that are at hand. And that's a lot, because the people that come to this network that are part of it, they have so many other plates spinning and things that they're supposed to be doing, because it's not just one job they have with parent, family, and community and parent engagement. They may have other things that they're assigned to do as well. But when we come together, we're present and we're dealing with the real issues that are affecting our families, that are affecting our schools, that are affecting our students.
Cool. So hopefully is more eloquent coming from your colleagues. That's what I hope you all get to experience in this group.
My name is Steve Raymond.
Oh, hey, Steve. But, you know, we got a couple minutes left. You know, I'll take any other questions that you might have or things that are on your mind, anything that you've got anxiety about or anything. But I am going to drop this link into the chat here. And what this is my calendar. As a new kind of member, you might in a couple weeks have some questions about how you want to get things rolling in your region, or you know, even things you're thinking about personally exploring, and we're here for you. I would really encourage you all to sign up for even, you know, just 30 minutes to chit chat with me and potentially Dr. Boone as well, to just see kind of how you're feeling, where you're at, and how we can help you get this ball rolling as you all enter kind of maybe a new role for you, or maybe even a new region. So I encourage you to do that, and I look forward for those coming in there. But that's kind of where we're at for today. So I wonder if you have any questions, concerns, feedback. So as you're hopefully, you know, signing up there for a little spot, did want to show you what the other group's been looking at might be of interest to you as well. So they're looking, our center every year does a family engagement needs assessment filled out by district leaders at the 323 school districts that are identified for improvement status, right in your wheelhouse, right? So we get results every year about what they're doing, what the status of family engagement is in their region, what they think they're doing well, what they think they need help with. So you have, this is selected responses just that they were using for a discussion, but I also wanted to show you that if you click this link to regional family engagement needs assessment reports, it takes you out to a Google Doc here. Hopefully if it goes, and this has individual region reports too, so filters down to your region about what principals had to, or excuse me, district leaders had to say about this. Also has the statewide report in there, as well, if you wanted to maybe do comparison or make some quick oversights or quick quick observations about anything. So that is that that I want to show you too. Probably a useful tool at some point, but
That's on the website.
Yep. If you again head over to the networks and the FC network part here, this is the page, and it's this one. Oh no, it's not. What? Oh my gosh, I can't even read today. It's this one. It's the link to the regional family engagement needs assessment. I promise there'll be less exclamations in October. I'm gonna bring that other group back, and then we'll just wrap up really quick together and make sure that everyone has a couple minutes to do my fancy survey. So thank you. Forgot what we did last year. It's cool stuff in last year too. This
I'm
one.
sorry, I missed the login.
Oh, no problem. I'm gonna type it in here really quick.
Thank you.
It's just network member with no spaces, no capitals. One thing to highlight as people come back, this is from December of last year. Dr. Brett Zaromsky's from Ohio State, and he is like a forward leader on positive childhood experiences and protective factors. Really the counterweight to ACEs, if you're familiar with that from your background. He did a really, really great presentation last year that might be useful for you all if you're interested in that space. So just want to point that out too. But now everyone's back.
Hey, we're back.
Yes, thank you.
Thanks for the extra time.
Thank you guys for doing that. We had a good time together. Then went down memory lane about the network and what we've been doing. Hey guys, I'll pause for questions in a second if anyone's got any, but wanted to just get people the survey so you have a couple minutes to get started on it right now. For the veteran members, we didn't talk about work groups a lot this time, right? Shocker. We have embedded into the survey a opportunity for you to vote for work groups that you think are important and also propose new ideas. So please fill out the survey. If you're looking forward to being on a work group, please let us know by voting for that in there. So survey links in the chat. This is huge for us. I harp on it every time. It helps me plan the meetings in between. It also helps me make sure that I'm having good experience for you all. So please take the survey. You can get started now. We got 3 minutes left before your next meeting, hopefully. I do, while people are doing that, I will pause and stop talking finally to see if anyone had any questions that came up from the day.
We had a request to put the new logic model up on the meeting records or on the important documents section of the website, which I think we can say yes to, right?
Yes.
Yes. Thanks, Tom.
So, that's a good question for a new member. What is coordination and alignment? So, family and we already got some confusing insight, like, right, we were talking about NNPS and the Family Engagement Network. Coordination Alignment Work Group has looked at ways to coordinate family engagement efforts across initiatives and things like that. Last year, they created a family-facing database for all family-facing kind of professionals in the education cascade. So that was one thing that they did. So kind of just trying to tie things together across family engagement stuff, I guess. Yes, there is the professional database. Pretty cool. Okay, well, I hope you like the logic model. I think it looks pretty. Took a long time to put together, but with that, it is 11:59. We got you the survey. Again, really appreciate if you can take that. But what I appreciate more is you all. And I thank you all for stopping by today. This has been a really fun time getting to know some new people and getting touch base with people who have been here before. And I really hope that it was a good use of your time and that you guys have a great August as schools get back in session. Thanks so much for stopping by today. And as always, reach out if you need anything. Thank you so much.